Hello there.
Hello.
Hi there.
And welcome back to the 1313 Podcast YouTube channel. I'm Jacob.
I'm Jackson.
And I'm Tommy.
And today we are joined by none other than Split Screen.
Woo! So this is the 1313 Podcast, as you all know. And on this podcast, we do have a series called Have a Chat. And in this series, we invite other creators and members of the Star Wars community onto the show to talk about their content, their experience with Star Wars. And then from there, you guessed it, have a chat. So, Split Screen, how would you tell us about a little bit what your content is all about?
Yeah, sure. So I am a Star Wars gaming creator. So I focus pretty much anything gaming related, really. So we've got Lego Star Wars coming up in April. So I'm making a lot of content about that. Star Wars Hunters is releasing this year as well. So I'm also making a ton of content with that and just anything else gaming, whether it's news, leaks, rumors, or just general discussions. So, it could be a concept for a new hunter to come to Hunters, or it could be sort of, I've got one coming out in a few weeks, which is talking about how I want Lego Star Wars mix and match to work. So just those kind of things, really, just, focusing on news. I also stream 2 to 3 times a week as well. So yeah, that's, pretty much it. Just anything Star Wars gaming really is where you can find on my channel.
Nice. That's awesome.
Nice. I know for ourselves, we're very excited for this new Lego Star Wars game to finally drop. Are you really, really excited about this? What's your anticipation?
I am. Yeah, so I just think it's crazy because it was originally meant to be released like 2 years ago. When they first announced it in 2019, it was like 2020, and I was like, no way. And then it got to 2020, and it was delay. So it was going to be 21, and then it got delayed again to 22, and it went gold last week on Wednesday, which means it's ready to ship and go on discs and everything like that. So it's fully finished. It's ready to come out now, which is just mental. Like the fact that it's finally here is awesome. We've had some big details about it over the last sort of few months. You can board capital ships and buy them. I think you can actually buy the Death Star as well, there's 24 planets you can go and explore, probably pretty big for the most part, but the Death Star's not on there, and the reason for that is because I think you can actually just buy it yourself and essentially use it as a vehicle and explore it that way. So I could be wrong, but that's what was said back in 2019, and it's sort of been reiterated earlier a couple of weeks ago as well. So it's going to be massive, like over 400 characters as well. It's just I think it's going to be everything you could ever want in a Star Wars game, pretty much, especially Lego Star Wars as well. So really excited for it.
I'm so excited for that game, especially because my big thing is I collect Lego Star Wars, like the sets. That's like my main focus of my collection. So and plus Jackson and I played it a ton growing up. That was like our first video game that we had. We had it on the Nintendo. We have such great memories of screaming at each other of go this way, no this way, because there's no split screen yet.
Just deleting everything.
That was an accident. When you press new game instead of load game on accident. But no, I'm super excited for that game. I think my hype for Lego Star Wars is probably the highest, but I'm also really excited for Hunters, and I'd like to hear your take on that. Like, did you have the opportunity to get to be a part of the beta for it? Have you played it at all, or are you just doing what I'm doing and just watching the news come in as it comes in?
Yeah, so there's not been any official what's the word? There's not been any creator events or anything like that at the moment, but I'm hoping there will be some sort of close to launch. But obviously it is in soft launch at the moment, so that started back in November, and you can get it on your. So it's also worth saying the game's only going to be out on Android, iOS, and the Nintendo Switch, but through Android emulators on PC, you can actually play it on your PC via this. It's a bit of a weird workaround, but I've been playing it on my laptop since November, and it soft launched on iOS 2 weeks ago. On Thursday, it would have been 2 weeks now, so I've got it on my phone. It's only out in 6 countries, but I created a Mexican Apple account and then downloaded it on my phone. So I'm playing it on my phone now. It's so smooth, and I'm not typically a mobile gamer, but it's honestly the best mobile game I've ever played. It runs really well. It's just a lot of fun to play. And yeah, I mean, even if you guys are not mobile gamers too much, or if anyone listening or watching, like if you're not mobile gamers, then I'd still recommend giving it a try because it's free to play. There's no harm in just playing for like 15 minutes and just kind of assessing the situation there, because it is a lot of fun and I think it has a really bright future ahead of it. So yeah,
I'm excited because I just got a Switch in December.
Nice.
So I'm probably gonna get it on the Switch. I've seen lots of like the screenshots, some like tidbits of gameplay from the Switch. It actually looks like it runs even better than it does on mobile. So I'm excited for that to come out. I was a big fan of Overwatch during high school, so kind of a Star Wars Overwatch game. I'm like, yeah, I think that'll be cool. So I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, it really is like that though. It pretty much is a Star Wars Overwatch game, and that's something I've wanted for a long time, because I mean I never really got into Overwatch all that much, but I've played it, really enjoyed it, and it's something I've wanted. Star Wars. I mean, there's loads of Star Wars games I want, but an Overwatch style Star Wars game has been a dream of mine for the last probably 4 years or something. So the fact that we're finally getting it now is awesome. And yeah, I don't think we've seen a huge amount of gameplay itself from the Switch, but certainly screenshots. Like it looks really good on mobile anyway, but the Switch just looks even better from what we've seen from screenshots. So yeah, it's going to be good.
It'll be fun.
Very much.
Actually, I will say too, I know we talked a little bit about hunters over like Twitter, but also I actually knew about your content, I think years ago, honestly, back when Battlefront 2 was still getting updates. Yeah, I've been watching your stuff for a while now.
I appreciate that.
It's been an interesting, I guess, switch to see all these, like, 'cause there were all these like YouTube channels that were like strictly Battlefront, and that's where you guys all got all this traction from. And then the game's support ended, and like there's been a couple times where the game has like really risen in popularity since the support ended. I can already tell by your face that you have some pent up feelings about that game. But like, yeah, I think it was you, it was Palpamemes, and then I think, I'm sure if I look through my subscriptions on YouTube that I could find it, but there were a couple other channels that I watched, and it was interesting to watch everybody. It was Azatru. It was interesting to watch everybody kind of shift and move in different directions after that. So how was that for you? Like, I don't want to bring up any like,
No, it's cool. No, I really enjoy talking about it, but it's just, yeah, it's hard. Like it was like when Battlefront 2 ended, it was really hard because it's when you focus on a game for so long and it gets so much content, and literally the last month that the game had support, so April 2020 was the best month I've ever had on YouTube in every single way. Like, wow, it was insane. And had the game carried on going, I think the channel would be much bigger than what it is now, which is a real shame because I was just getting that momentum to really get somewhere with it, and it ended. So it's you had to just instantly rethink your strategy. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? Because, Battlefront 2 content was going to die down at some point. And, thankfully Squadrons came about, and that was the sort of the new thing. It was very niche, but I was able to, make content on that and make something out of that. Which was nice, but the problem with Squadrons is that it didn't get any post-launch content following December. So, I mean, it wasn't meant to anyway, but then it got 2 months, updates, which was great. But then after that, so going into last year was hard because we didn't have any Star Wars game that was, this big popular thing for content. I mean, Battlefront 2 was getting players, sure, but it doesn't mean that content itself on YouTube is going to be particularly watchable or exciting by a lot of people. So you kind of have to still try and figure things out. I mean, I was quite lucky with all these different game announcements that came out, but that would only go so far. So last year was really difficult. I just tried to, discussions is a big thing for me on the channel. So I was trying to find all these discussion topics to focus on with all these different games. But it was challenging, and I'm just glad we're where we are now with Lego Star Wars coming out really soon, and Hunters sort of being in the peripheral at the moment with a hopeful release in May. That's not like confirmed or been said by anyone, but that's just my assumption anyway. So yeah, it was hard. It was really challenging, but I think it was I think it was necessary. Like, it's one of those big life lessons that I think the fact that I was able to navigate myself through that, somewhat successfully has set me up really well. And as you said, like other people doing different things as well. Like Azatru's, he's still doing his top 5 mods of the week. He's focusing hugely on Lego Star Wars, but then other people have shifted in different areas. Like Palpa Memes, I think he mostly did Battlefront 2, but now he's sort of a general Star Wars thing. So it has been really interesting to see the creator shift at that point. And I think most people will do Lego Star Wars content as well, but Hunters is going to be like the big sort of multiplayer thing for Star Wars for a while, I think. So it'll be really interesting to see a community really like come together with that and see what people do there, because we've not seen that for 2 years now. So yeah, interesting times for sure.
Yeah, I remember I was like, for our group of friends, because we had a huge group of friends that played together from where we live, and I remember every time an update would come out, I would go through all the patch notes and I would send all the important stuff to this group chat. And I know everyone would just look at their phones and go, yep, here goes Tom again. Spamming the group chat with, stat changes for Chewbacca. Didn't care, didn't ask. And then, but I was like so into it. And then when I remember I just come home from like a run that day. Like when I opened my phone, I like laid down and I was like, oh man, there's a blog post for Battlefront 2, and I opened it and I read to the bottom of the Scarif update, and they're like, yeah, and this is it. And I was like, I probably sat there for like 20 minutes just like contemplating like what was actually happening. Yeah. Texted everyone, and everyone was like, everyone thought I was joking at first. And then
no, I remember. So I think the first thing I saw was the community update video and not the patch notes. And Dennis in that said about how it's going into like the future of the game is going into the player's hands.
Yep.
I didn't really know what he meant by that. And I saw loads of people on Twitter just being like, oh, the game's over. And I was like, no, it's not. It can't be. And then I saw loads of the devs tweeting about how sad they are. And I was in shock because there were people who had made videos like a month ago, like Battlefront updates saying like, is Battlefront 2 ending? And with all that negativity, I was like, okay. I then made a video saying it's not ending and here's why. And then a month later it ends and I'm just like, it was a massive L. Yeah. Yeah. I had to take it, but yeah, it was it's a very sad day, that one, that's for sure.
Yeah. But now we know that there's a first-person shooter coming from EA on the horizon. Yep. Do you think it'll be Battlefront 3, or what are your thoughts? You don't think so?
No, straight off the bat. I mean, like, there's always going to be that spark of hope for me, but it's not. I don't see it happening. I think the most likely thing is going to be a small-scale shooter based on Inferno Squad. There's been loads of leaks. Early last year, there was a few leaks about it, and in late 2020, the actors and actresses for Aiden, Del Mico, and Garrick Versio, obviously from Battlefront 2, they were in performance capture. So there's a chance it could be that. Like, they were all Del and Garrick, so Anthony Scordi and TJ Romini, they worked together with this performance capture. We don't know about Janina Gavonka, but it's likely because they were all in LA in late November sort of time. So those projects are still unannounced, whatever they were doing. So I think everything's leading up to the fact that it's probably another Inferno Squad game coming, and I think it makes sense to be from EA. And obviously with this first-person shooter, that just seems to be the most realistic thing. So my expectation for it is going to be, really solid campaign of Inferno Squad, and then probably like a small-scale multiplayer on the side, potentially. But that's my assumption. I don't think they'll do anything crazy like Battlefront 3 again, because I think that got shut down by EA, because DICE pitched it last year, apparently, and that got shut down. And then Respawn already got... Respawn have got 5 games in the works now, so doing something like Battlefront would be ridiculous on top of Apex and all these other things. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's probably a couple of years away, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it. I think as much as like Jacob said, I would love to believe that it would come out like a Battlefront 3, but I just don't think it's in the cards, especially because the people that are in charge of the money-making decisions for EA, all that they see and all that they care about is the fact that what word am I trying to look for? All they care about is the fact that Battlefront 2 at launch did not do as well as it was projected to do. And because of that, that's all that they care about. And they go, oh, it'd be too risky to make a third one. They're not paying attention too much to, I think, to the community's response.
Yeah, and that's what I think. You're absolutely right, though, and I think that's what annoys me the most is that, you know, we have so much content coming. I mean, we should hopefully be getting a Kenobi trailer very soon, as I think I mentioned on Twitter to you guys. Like, Kenobi trailer should be this week and obviously releasing later on. There's all of these TV shows and films coming out over the next few years. So why isn't there this massive first and third person Battlefront game that focuses on content with all of these things? Like, every time a new show releases, boom, make a battle pass, add content from those shows into the game. Like, it's such an easy idea, right? And you know, and Battlefront 2 was ended up being so successful. I mean, the way they came back to it was insane. Like No Man's Sky sort of a redemption arc. And if they release the game with microtransactions done in the right way, as they did towards the end of Battlefront 2, then they'd make stupid amounts of money, but they just don't see it, and it's right in their faces.
Yeah, what I feel like they're doing instead, just because they can't obviously do that now with Battlefront, is that they're going to do that now with Lego Star Wars. So, I mean, I pre-ordered the deluxe edition, which, as you probably know, comes with passes for Mando Season 1 and 2, Solo, Rogue Squadron, Bad Batch even. So I feel like this is going to be Disney's opportunity then. So once they make this Lego game and once new shows start coming out, just put out optional DLCs for these shows and add character packs. I think
I'd love that.
Like their greatest idea.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be amazing because I think, as you said, there's like 7 at the moment that is coming out. There isn't any for the Book of Boba Fett yet, but I'm hoping that post-launch they'll add that, and they'll add character packs for all these different shows. Because, I mean, this is the biggest Star Wars game we've ever had, and probably will have for a long time. And with it focusing on all of these things, they can just add character packs for so long. And it would require quite a lot of people to still work on all these things, but you could probably get away with a pretty small team. Just make all these character packs for each show, and it's crazy amount of money that they'd be able to do. Just sell a character pack for like £5 and not even that, and you're done. Easy.
I'm excited for the fact that some of the Lego sets that came out, like the Razor Crest, come with codes, so that way you can get the sets in the game. I hope that's still a feature that they're doing, but I have a couple sets that fit into that, so I think that's I hope they continue to do that, like with sets that come out, like say. Book of Boba sets. If they include a code, so that way you can get like new skins for Boba Fett, or like you can get like a Bantha or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that would also be really good. Because I mean, with it being Lego and Star Wars, then adding character packs based on the shows leads to sort of people then seeing the character. I mean, they may not necessarily know about the show somehow. But they'll see the character pack, so they'll then go and watch the show because they saw the character packs. Likewise, if they see codes in Lego sets for this game, then they'll go and buy those Lego sets because they want the codes in game and stuff. Like, it's such I feel like from a marketing perspective in this way, and just tying in content from all these things, it's an easy way to make money for them. And if they don't do it, I will be very surprised.
Well, there is a game that comes out with new characters all the time, and it's the mobile game Galaxy of Heroes, which totally isn't a pay-to-win game.
Dude,
I used to be so when I remember when it first came out, and like, oh my gosh, I'd have been like 2014 or 2015 when that game first came out, and I remember I would play it in Spanish class with 2 of my friends, and we'd be playing, and then like. You just get to a point, and that's the point where I got to. Like, I'll jump on the game every now and again. Like, if when the Bad Batch characters were coming out, I would unlock them and then immediately stop playing the game again because, like, you would hit a wall where you literally couldn't get the next level of gear unless you actually physically bought the gear with real money. And it's like, why would it? I mean, evidently they're making enough money from it to keep the game going.
Yeah, it's made over $1 billion.
$1 billion, you said?
Yeah, as of the end of 2019 or early 2020, it made $1 billion.
Well, that's
That's where the
whack.
market is.
But
Yeah.
hey,
What?
EA, if you want to sponsor us and make us plug your game, our
Go
DMs
for
are
it.
open. We have an email in the description.
Suddenly, I won't be speaking so negatively about Galaxy of Heroes.
Suddenly,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
playing Galaxy of Heroes.
it's genuinely crazy. I mean, I've been playing it like a lot more the last couple months, but I'm not going to pay for anything, but
Nope.
I'm enjoying like the slow grind for it, just because my problem with it is I never created squads, so I never had all that synergy bonuses
Oh.
going into battles and stuff. So I'm trying to build a couple squads up so that I can do that and actually get further into the game. But so like it's a slow grind. I'm happy to do it. Just go on once or twice a day and do that. But I think last year they added a new character for Luke, and if you wanted to, let's say I started the game completely fresh, if I wanted to get that Luke, or even just to get to the requirements to be able to unlock that Luke, I would probably have to spend about $3,000. So yeah,
What?
rough.
See, I had a squad. I have a squad of clones. It's Rex, Cody, that phase 1 sergeant with the minigun, and then I had Fives and Echo. That was my squad that I would carry around with me. And it was a good squad, don't get me wrong. But again, like I got to the point with all of them where I couldn't upgrade any of the characters anymore. And then you hit that wall again. It's like, oh, I can't progress any further in the game. And even like, the PvE modes or the PvP modes, because it's like, I can't do anything because I would have to spend actual money to a ridiculous degree just to get these characters. And I guess I'm also kind of opposed to it because it's a mobile game. Maybe I might be a little bit more inclined to do it if it was like a game on console. But I think it's just because it's a mobile game, it makes me like not want to spend my. Listen,
like Candy Crush.
The only game I ever spent real money on that's mobile, well, there's two, is Pokemon Go and Clash Royale. And guess what? I still play those games since they came out. Like, never stopped playing them.
Mm-hmm. No, and I think the issue is that over the years, mobile games have always had that. They've always been able to get away with pay to win so easily, and it's still an issue now. Like Hunters being a mobile game, one of my concerns was that it is going to be very pay to win, but it's not. Well, I mean, there's it feels like there's an element of it because to unlock new Hunters, you have to unlock them via crystals. But yeah, it's not ideal, but you can unlock crystals really easily. Like it's still a grind, but you can get them quite easily. So it still like takes Apex. Time. Yeah, very much like Apex actually. Yeah. But there's also, they added a couple weeks ago Hunter tokens, which means you can unlock these Hunter tokens by progressing and use Hunter tokens to buy the new Hunters. So there's ways around it now, which is amazing because beforehand they didn't have any. And at the moment, you can only unlock Hunter tokens to buy one new Hunter, but by launch, that should change so you can just unlock them a lot more easily. So, they've already combated what felt like a pay-to-win system, so it's not bad at all at the moment, which is really nice. But obviously, Galaxy of Heroes is just ridden with microtransactions, like all up in your face. And I know that with Galaxy of Heroes, with the Bronzium data cards that you can get every 5 minutes.
Yep.
So you might not think too much into this, but when you clicked on the store, you'd have to scroll all the way across to get to them.
Yeah.
So that is essentially so that you can see all of these different packs with microtransactions to tempt you into buying these packs with real money, so that you could then
criminal. That's criminal.
Like,
put the cuffs on the company. Put the cuffs on.
It's like when you go to Walmart and they have like those things in the middle of the aisle that get in your way, but you look at them as you go past, like, oh, that's a cereal I didn't know I needed.
Yeah.
Oh man,
well, so
that automatic frying pan's looking real nice.
So yeah, they do it in a lot of stores here as well. So the alcoholic beverages, certainly in a store called Waitrose, they used to be in the far corner of the shop. So to get there, you'd have to go through all of these different aisles, and that would then lead you to be like, oh, I need that, I need this, and I need that as well. So it's really smart. Like it's one of those sort of passive thing. I don't really know the name of it, but it's just one of those things that like with Galaxy of Heroes, like they never, as far as I'm aware, they never came out and said that that's why it was done, but it's just a business technique that is so clear. I mean, it's also almost just you wouldn't really notice it unless someone told you. But thankfully, the data card's now as the first thing in the store. But yeah, it is very pay to win and just not good.
Yeah. See, I might be unlocking some hidden memories for y'all because I'm thinking more about mobile games. Did you ever play the Star Wars Angry Birds at all?
Yes. Oh,
And
yeah.
See, that was good. Did you have the second one as well when that came out?
I did. Yeah, I used to love those games.
See, that was a ton of fun, and everybody forgets about it just because
The
I'm pretty sure-
telepods, bro. Do you remember
Yes,
the telepods? Like the
I have the Django Fett,
the
pig
little
in my
rubber.
room.
If you don't know what it is, it was like how the Switch has amiibos and you could like
Oh, yeah.
teleport them in the game. It was like the little Angry Bird. If you like ran out of birds at the end of the level, you could scan one in as like a final like.
Really?
I never
Yes.
knew about that. No.
Yeah, you could be like, please, I need one more. Well, you could only do it once per level, like
once
per bird.
Yeah, my bad.
So it made it like, and it was like a way to save your game. So
That's kind of cool.
we had those growing up. Those were pretty cool.
they were clutch.
And then the rights to the games got taken away, and they're now off the App Store.
Isn't it?
I actually play it on an emulator on my laptop sometimes when I'm in
Nice.
class, and I'm just like,
Why not?
man, this class is really
Jake can
boring,
find it.
and it's just reiterating things I've learned 3 times already. I'll just
Yeah.
go open up an emulator and play Angry Birds Star Wars.
Or you could be cool like us and have it on Xbox.
Nice. I rate that. That's sick.
Or if you want it on mobile and you have Android, download this mobile store called Aptoid that I use. Then you can get all the Angry Birds Star Wars games because they're no
Nice.
longer on the Play
There you
Store.
go.
So,
Yeah, I mean, any you'll be able to play it on PC as well. Just download an emulator, get the APK, and Bob's your uncle.
Yep.
Boom, easy.
that's also, I don't know if you remember Star Wars Force Arena. That mobile game
do.
was my favorite. It's the one, it
Mhm.
was literally Clash Royale, but sideways. And you
Yeah.
could pick like your hero, and then your hero had like a companion. So you could put like General Grievous and the Magna Guards. And it was like 3 lanes, and there were towers on either side.
Oh,
That game was
the one
awesome.
that
Absolutely.
everyone-
I mean,
Classic.
you unburied a wound.
I
Lego
was gonna
Star
say.
Wars Battles. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I had that game before it came out during its soft launch.
Yeah.
It was my favorite mobile game. It was like Clash, it was Lego, it was Star Wars. It was fantastic.
Now it's
and then,
behind a paywall on the
and then
App
they're like,
Store.
Apple only. I'm like, no. They're like, I love that.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is,
A crapple device just to be
Yeah.
like,
Hey, I have
It's
an Apple
trash.
device.
oh, wait.
Continue to be people. You ever watch the South Park episode with Apple where they make the frickin' human centipede iPad?
Dude,
Watch
you
that.
automatically just became a neckbeard because you just came at me with a South Park episode. I like South Park,
I
but
just
I
saw
can't
it
believe you just
yesterday.
used that.
That's
as
what
a
you
point to
are.
make.
That's what
You're
you
a
are.
neckbeard.
You read the terms and conditions,
You know
and
what?
then you become the centipede.
Shave your neckbeard, Jackson. Shave your neckbeard.
boom.
L's.
Yeah.
I want to
So-
take my girlfriend's old phone because it's an Apple and just be like, yoink, and use it.
You totally should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Piracy.
Yeah, the annoying thing about that though is that it's Apple exclusive, but it's not just Apple exclusive. It's
Yep.
Apple Arcade exclusive. So even if you have an iOS phone, you need to pay. You need to have the iOS subscription, which is annoying because like I don't play Lego Star Wars Battles too much, but it's a really fun game. And they also added Lego Star Wars Castaways. Also,
How is that game?
it's really fun actually. Yeah, like it's just really light-hearted, a bit of like a fun sort of social sort of thing. But you can play through different levels from the original trilogy. You can own like your own little micro fighter and just fly that around the place. The customization's really solid as well. Like you can change your hair, your clothes, trousers, and like hats and helmets. So you could have like an Imperial shock trooper helmet with a Tusken Raider top and Boba Fett's legs or something. Like it's good fun. And I know they're going to be adding more content to it. So but again, it's just like the fact that it's locked behind a paywall. It's just like it's rough. It's rough.
So I just want to apologize because You said trousers, and
And then
obviously,
Sorry.
where we're from,
Dude,
I don't
America,
think anything of
yeah.
it because I've actually listened to people and spoken to people that are not from America.
I do that
so
too.
I just hear.
See, I saw you guys laughing as I was talking. I was like, I saw you guys laughing as I was talking. I was like, oh God, what have I said something here? And
I think our worst on Have a Chat was when our last episode we had Lightsaber Radio, which is another Star Wars podcast.
Yeah.
They're good friends
Yeah.
of ours,
Oh,
and
no, that.
the one, and so we record. You know what the Super Bowl is, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so we recorded this on the Super Bowl Sunday, and so one of their hosts is from the UK. Her name is Charlie, and she had so first of all, when she was talking, she was telling us about like her childhood experience with Star Wars, and she was like, yeah, when I was a kid, I used to read above my reading level, whether it was age appropriate or not. And so we started thinking like, oh, she's reading like 50 Shades of Grey. So like we're like sitting there like holding in laughs, and then you just see on her like she has like a football jersey on and it just says "suck it" at the top. So then like we're sitting there like I'm like biting my lip. I'm like trying not to laugh.
Literally, okay, it was like I was the one that broke first because like when she was explaining her like what she did, she's like, I read things that I probably shouldn't be at my age. That's how she described it. So we were like, ah ha ha, that's funny. And then like she like flips her hair and I noticed her shirt and all I saw was the word "suck." And I just break. I go, her shirt says "suck." We all just started dying. It was so funny.
Oh man, I'm dying just from hearing it. Honestly,
There's another time too. This happened off camera, thank the Lord. But we had our good friend Skywalker Hendricks on our podcast, and this was the first time we ever had Skywalker Hendricks on the show. And so, like, we had just started. Keep in mind, at this point, we had never spoken to the guy before. This was the first time we had him on the show. And then someone, I don't remember who it was, somebody ripped one in the like, just sat there, and so it was just a foul stench. And we're just sitting here trying not to just. I'm like, covering my mouth. I'm like sitting here. Jackson had to like get up and walk away. And so like we're just laughing and he's just staring at us. And we felt so bad. So we had to like explain to this guy. We're good friends with him now. But like we had to explain to him like this is our first time meeting him, like the first 5 minutes. And it's like, hey man, we're not laughing at you. We're just laughing because somebody ripped one.
Nice. What an experience.
We try to. This is why we're the most mediocre podcast. Because no matter how much we try to keep it professional, it happens every time. I don't know.
No, I mean it's the best way to be. Really, you got to have a laugh, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, and that's you gotta be lighthearted, especially in the Star Wars fandom. Everybody is so cynical and so serious. We're just here to have a good time, dude.
No, exactly. And the thing is, I mean, well, we all know how things have gone over the last few years with community, and it's just good to have a bit of fun, just chat and chill. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking of like having a good time, the Book of Boba Fett just wrapped a couple weeks ago. What do you think of the show? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, no, I did. It wasn't what I expected, and I think I probably speak for a lot of people on that. But no, I did really enjoy it. Like what I was expecting was, I think, what a lot of people expected, in that it was going to be, crazy action, Boba Fett being this big badass bounty hunter guy, but instead, obviously, he was basically the ruler of Mos Espa, which, I thought it was really cool. Like, it was an interesting way to explore a different part of his character. But yeah. I'm assuming it's all good to like talk about spoilers and stuff. Just in...
the show's been out. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, I was checking, but yeah, I mean, like seeing Cad Bane blew my mind.
Man,
that was so cool. And yeah, but what intrigued me the most was at the end of the finale, Boba was saying like, "Oh, I don't think this is for me," and then Fennec was like, "Oh, if not us, then who?" And then it went to Cobb Vanth. So. I'm kind of assuming the show's going to get a season 2, and then he's going to go back to his bounty hunting ways with Fennec, Chrysanthemum, and the mods, which I'd really like to see. But I did think it was a interesting, story to tell with Boba, and just get a different side to him that we've, never seen before. So, yeah, overall, they really enjoyed it.
Actually, I have a quick question for you. Just
Yeah.
This may not be an issue at all, but from my understanding, when Disney Plus first came out, it wasn't easily accessible to members in the UK, and so I think you had to like wait forever for The Mandalorian to come out. So I'm assuming now, because you're talking about Book of Boba Fett with us, you're up to date with the US on that.
Yeah, so the way it was before is so I think Disney Plus released mid-November for you guys in 2019. It didn't release until March 23rd, maybe in the UK, something like that. So yeah, it was a few months after. It was rough. I mean, I watched The Mandalorian as it released anyway because I had.
Oh, so you watched it illegally, is what you're saying to us on live?
Don't tell anyone.
You wouldn't steal a car, so why would you steal a movie?
Man, that just takes me back to Spider-Man. Bloody hell. On the Spider-Man DVDs we used to put it in, it's always that like CIA advert.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Pirate my movie.
Yeah. So I'll admit, so Disney, don't hurt me. I did. This is where Mickey Mouse just like bashes down my door or something.
What screen announces that he's a federal criminal?
We just hear the
Guilty
back-
as charged.
Open the door!
So yeah, there was using the BlueStacks emulator, there was an app called BTV, and I just downloaded it on that and watched it. So I actually had The Mandalorian season 1 in not a great quality, but just downloaded in a Google Drive. I'd never gave it to anyone, to be fair, and it is now deleted just in case. But yeah, no, I watched it through that, and then when Disney Plus released in the UK, everything comes out at the same time. So yeah, like as soon as you get something, we get something as well, which is fine. So
That's awesome.
no issues.
And then from my understanding as well, doesn't your version of Disney Plus have like an age restricted feature already so you can watch other content that we don't? Because I remember seeing it before.
There is like you can have like parental controls, but yeah, I mean that's not something that's on by default. But like when you're creating a new user profile, you can be like, do you want there to be like age restrictions or not? So yeah, you can set them, but it's not like a default thing really.
Gotcha.
Is that not something you have, or?
Not really. So from my understanding as well, from what I've seen before, the UK has access to different movies that we don't already. But I know with the potential talks of Disney obviously reacquiring the licensing to like Daredevil and a lot of the Netflix shows, they want to put that on the Disney Plus platform with then maybe a potential age-restricted feature so that some little 4-year-old kid can go on to Disney Plus and watch the Punisher.
Yeah, so funnily enough, Disney Plus did actually announce today that they are coming on. So Daredevil, Jessica Jones, The Defenders, all that stuff, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., March 16th it releases, so happy days. It was on the Disney Plus. That's the Disney Plus UK one. Hang on, let me see if it's on.
Tell you, bro.
I'm sorry, boss.
Because
I thought it was coming to Hulu because I saw a bunch of people speculating that because like, okay, they have Murdoch on Hulu because that isn't age appropriate.
Murdoch sucks.
Yeah.
It's MODOK.
I always thought MODOK was funny, but like that's what I thought was going to be the case. But I'm very happy we're going to get those shows back now.
Yeah, no, yeah. So even the normal Disney Plus tweeted it. So so available in US, Canada, UK, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. Updated parental controls available in US on March 16th. So I mean, maybe it's just I think maybe it's probably just to do with the legislation in the US or something. That's why you don't really have strict parental controls at the moment. But then maybe it's just being updated soon anyway, because, there's some brutal stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, I've seen most of them. Like Daredevil's my favorite superhero, but I actually haven't seen season 3 yet, which is really bad. I know I haven't finished Punisher either, which is also very bad. I've watched.
If you're a child, don't watch it.
Those shows are fantastic.
They are awesome. Like I've seen from what I've watched, like it was really enjoyable. But I I watched The Defenders many years ago when it came out on holiday, and then after that, I just lost track with all of it because that's actually when I started YouTube. So when was it? 2017. So it was like August 2017. The Defenders came out. I watched it on holiday, and as soon as I got back from that holiday, that's when I started the channel. So I think just me getting involved with all of this kind of just took me away from watching TV. So yeah, there you go. I will catch up on them at some point, but it's no idea when.
This is a little bit of a change of topic, but kind of back to video games. I've been thinking about this question pretty much the whole time. So I know there are rumors of Jedi Fallen Order 2 coming out at the end of this year. Do you think that we might get a reveal at E3, or do you think it's just going to get a random trailer drop like at some point in time?
My assumption with that is Star Wars Celebration at the end of May will get a reveal trailer, and then we'll get a gameplay trailer at E3. Content creators might, as part of the EA Creator Network, I'm hoping we'll get early preview stuff in September and then release in November, because that would follow the same pattern as Jedi Fallen Order in 2019. So we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong, but yeah, that's my assumption. So late May, like proper reveal, June, July for gameplay, and then like trailer stuff, and then release in November. But I think it is worth saying for those just watching that it obviously could get delayed to 2023 as well, just because of COVID and everything going on. So yeah, I'm hopeful for a release this year, but we'll see.
Well, that's what I know. There were filming delays for The Mandalorian season 3 earlier this year because of COVID, where in the location they were recording. So I'm really hoping that show doesn't get delayed, because I don't know about you, but like for us, I think Bad Batch is one of our favorite shows right now. And so we're super hyped for season 2 of that show. But obviously The Mandalorian is going to take the cake for the top spot. Aside from Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Kenobi might be the best thing to ever come out, period.
But here's my thing.
My
thing is the expectations, I think, are so astronomically high that I think people have in their minds that, this needs to happen in the show. Yeah. And then there's going to be a lot of stuff that people are expecting that isn't going to happen. And then they're going to be upset. You know?
All I'm expecting is to see Ewan McGregor play Obi-Wan again. And then we know, because of some leaks, this is
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
If you want to skip ahead 30 seconds.
Tamir Morrison was spotted on set. And I was overanalyzing the photo. And the shoes that he's wearing looks a lot like Clone Trooper shoes. And the only reason why I say that is I'm going to grab a Clone Trooper right here just to demonstrate.
Oh, what a nerd.
On the shoe, if it'll focus, there are two lines that go up the side of the shoe. One here and one here. You can kind of see it. Yeah. Those were very prominent on the shoes that he was wearing on set. So I was like, the only thing that makes
live action flashbacks,
that they were tall boots. And I know Stormtroopers wear those. So we shall have to see. But I'm so hyped for that show.
Yeah, I did see that photo, and someone said that it was this guy from the 501st doing. I can't remember his name now, honestly, but he's got an Instagram account, and it could also very well be him instead, because the cap that he was wearing is also a cap that this guy owns. And he is I think he did actually confirm himself that he was working on Kenobi, because he did work for the Book of Boba Fett and other stuff. So yeah, I think it could also be him, but I really hope we get. I mean, I think we will get Clone Troopers for sure. Like imagine a live action flashback with Ewan, Hayden as Anakin, potentially a young Ahsoka as well, and then Clone Troopers.
When in the Book of Boba, when we had the flashback of Order 66, we saw Grogu in the temple. When we saw those Clone Troopers, I had a Star Wars theory moment, and I started crying just because I was like, I've wanted to see a live action. I want to see Clone Troopers on a live action thing for so long.
Yeah,
since episode 3, is you don't really see them. Maybe you see a helmet in the background, and that's about it. So just seeing them in a live action thing again made me so happy. So if they can improve on that, and we can actually get a physical suit in the show, I'd be over the moon.
But here's where I'm at. Hear me out.
All right.
So, with all these Star Wars shows now, you see a character in one show, you're bound to see them in another property. You know, whether that's animated to live action or vice versa. Like, you saw Cad Bane in the Bad Batch, and then you saw Cad Bane in the Book of Boba Fett.
Same with Fennec.
You saw Fennec in The Mandalorian, then you saw her in The Bad Batch, and now the Book of Boba Fett. You see Boba Fett in The Mandalorian. You know, you get what I'm saying. You see these characters in one show or one property, they transfer over to others. And so it makes the galaxy not seem smaller, but more familiar to you. And so, like my theory, I have a theory that Black Chrysanthemum is going to be in Obi-Wan Kenobi because in the comics that happens, and because Obi-Wan, you know, it's a formidable foe for Obi-Wan. Now, aside from that,
one that gave Chrysanthemum his scar in the comics. So we see Chrysanthemum with his scar in Book of Boba. So how did he get it? He's gonna get it from Kenobi. So that's something that I think that we're gonna see.
My theory.
I mean, the only thing would be the time, like where in the comics, like where in the timeline in the comics that actually happens, because Kenobi is 10 years after.
Well,
he's on there for a long time.
They have complete disregard for the comics when it comes to the shows.
I feel like they'll do it.
Bad Batch.
But also, I just want to put it out there that because we saw the new CGI for clone troopers in the Book of Boba Fett, and that was the last show that I expected to see clone troopers in.
Oh yeah.
I think that it's very plausible that we could see those same CGI renders for clone troopers show up in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, I would like them to be real people in real outfits, but the way the CG models are for the clone troopers is not proportionate to real human beings. Not even Anthony Daniels could fit his skinny little body into those suits. So I'm just going to come out and say it. If it was live action, like real people in clone trooper suits, I think that it would look a lot different. I don't think anyone would care, mind you.
No, everybody would care.
No, the 501st would care. That's who would care.
Yeah, that's true. But I think a lot of people, I think most viewers would just be astounded to see them.
I mean, I'd just be happy to see them, honestly. I like ever since they started making these live action TV shows, I've wanted a Clone Wars TV show so bad. Like, imagine having like a live action show about Delta Squad and their like journey throughout the entire Clone Wars, like, or just a new Clone Legion with a new Jedi and their story throughout the Clone Wars. Like, mind blowing. You know, I'd love that so much. I mean, because the thing is, right, the Clone Wars TV show itself is hugely expansive of the Clone Wars era itself, but it still focuses primarily on, you know, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka, you know, with the odd like Mace Windu, Plo Koon, Yoda, all that. But there's still going to be hundreds of other Jedi out there who have stories within the Clone Wars, you know, thousands of other clones, more clone legions, countless more planets. Like, the potential for storytelling in the Clone Wars is still very much there. And if they don't tap into that in live action, I'd be so surprised. And especially, as you were saying, with the CG clones, like, after the first episode of Boba Fett, we saw Kamino a bit for a really short amount of time. And I don't know if you guys know who Scout the Trooper is on Twitter, but so he tweeted saying like, there's no way they'd make that just for such a short amount of time. We're 100% going to see Kamino again. Next couple episodes, we saw Kamino again in flashbacks. So the fact that we had the Clone Troopers for such a short amount of time, I think we're definitely going to be seeing them again more. And yeah, I mean, we'll probably see them in Kenobi. I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw them in the Ahsoka show as well, because Hayden Christensen's been confirmed to be in the Ahsoka show as well. Whether that's going to be as a Force Ghost, I mean, I'd like to see it as a Force Ghost with Ahsoka, but again, also flashbacks to the Clone Wars would just be amazing.
I think that it was so powerful emotionally for me to see Ahsoka. More so just see her talk to Anakin's Force Ghost.
Yeah,
because just seeing that one throwaway line where Ahsoka tells Luke that he's just like his father, that hit me, man.
I
was like,
that so
I remember
much.
I was walking back from class one time, and I just stood there in the middle of the street for a second, and I thought, wait a minute, Ahsoka knows Luke Skywalker, that means that she knows that Anakin turned back to the light side. And then I texted Tommy at
Oh man, I
in a
just got
minute,
You
like,
chills.
called me. You called me.
I thought I texted
No, you called me.
Man's almost started crying on the phone. So yeah, I feel like if we saw her and Anakin's Force Ghost speaking to each other, I feel like that'd be another Star Wars theory moment where I just sit there like,
Yeah. No, I mean, I just got chills just like from you talking about that. Like if I saw it on screen, like I don't I'm a bit soulless, so I don't cry. It's okay. But yeah, no, like I would genuinely get because the thing is weird. I don't cry, but I do get really like emotional and like I well up a bit. But yeah, real men don't cry. Is a joke.
You suppress your feelings. Internalize it.
No, I'm joking, obviously, but yeah, it would be just stuff like that would just be amazing, honestly. Like I was watching A New Hope the other day, and well, so I had my driving test yesterday, which I passed. Whoop, and hell yeah,
yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about.
So the night before, on the Sunday night, I was so nervous, but I started watching A New Hope. Only watched like the first hour and 10 minutes maybe, but like it was so I forgot how like awesome and just like how magical it is. Like it made me feel so calm and awesome, and that those kind of moments is so like is what Star Wars can do for me that nothing else can. So I just want to see more things like that. You know, Ahsoka and Anakin talking. You know, with so excuse me, it'll be Ahsoka when she's older, and then Anakin's Force Ghost. Like that would just take me back to being a kid watching the Clone Wars. You know, that would just be amazing. I want that more than anything at the moment, really. So it'd be sick.
And it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. They have the right storytellers. Sure. You know, they have the people in the right places at Lucasfilm. Yeah. So I think that it's just bound to happen. You know,
for sure.
I trust the story.
Yeah, I do as well. And what baffles me is when people are like, get Kathleen Kennedy out and make Dave Filoni the president of Lucasfilm, and I'm just like,
no,
like, no, because it's just like, it's such a dumb thing to say. Like, I'm sorry if anyone said that, but it's true. Because if Dave Filoni was made president of Lucasfilm, he doesn't have all that creative control over the stories that he's telling.
Yep.
And it's like, and he would be part of the day-to-day running of Lucasfilm themselves, you know, all the business side of things. I mean, sure, he could still be a producer like Kathleen Kennedy, but like, he's still going to have a lot less input than what he currently has now. Like, he is in the best position to be able to tell all these incredible stories. So keep him there where he can actually be able to tell these things. And, you know, Jon Favreau as well is doing a great job as well. So keep those two together, but, you know, just so we can get these awesome big stories. Because, I mean, because I think they confirmed that Ahsoka, Mando, Boba, what was Rangers but got cancelled, they were all going to lead to this climactic finish. So once they've done that...
With Thrawn?
Thrawn, yes, it's happening.
It's
going to be amazing. So once that happens, like it'll be really interesting to see where they go and what they do next. So hype.
Yep. I'm just oh man. And you know what? It's good that you're an educated fellow because we'd be sharing the same opinions as you on all this stuff. So
yes.
I think
this is where I come in with a really controversial like opinion.
What is your most controversial Star Wars opinion? Let's hear it.
I really set myself up for that, didn't I? Bloody hell.
What's your hot take?
Give it to us.
I don't know. I don't feel like I have any really like hot takes with Star Wars.
So you're afraid?
Maybe. And yeah, fear is I was just about to say that.
The Last Jedi.
I mean, okay, to be fair, if we're talking hot takes, like I enjoy The Last Jedi. I can understand why people don't like it, but I do enjoy it myself.
Just dap me up right now over the
like,
screen.
Boom.
Yeah, you know the vibe. Because The Last Jedi is my third favorite Star Wars film.
I like
the only ones above it are Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. You know what?
I rate that.
That's just I love that movie. That movie means a lot to me. I'm gonna get off my soapbox before I start monologuing about the movie again.
Like I always say, I like things about that movie. I don't like how the entirety of it was executed.
No, that's totally fair. I mean, I think the cinematography in The
Perfect.
Last Jedi is
Perfect.
phenomenal. Like probably one of the best in the entire franchise. Like it's so well shot, and the visuals, like with the planets in particular, it's just amazing.
It truly is.
Another hot take, I guess. I mean, maybe not, but I don't know. Star Wars Resistance, the TV show, is a fun TV show.
Melu Run.
No.
I actually, I can see
Alright,
it's hard
I
to
have
for you.
watched it several times.
I can't
Is it
watch-
Resistance
I've
better?
watched. I watched 5 episodes and I go, I can't, and then I stop watching.
All right, let me be completely real with you about Resistance.
It sucks.
There are a couple episodes in the show where I go, oh, because I watched the whole thing.
Mm.
Now, granted, I watched both seasons of the show within like 3 days. So that probably wasn't the best idea, and I'm sure that jaded my opinion of the show, because there would be episodes where I would just be watching Kaz fall on a rock for the 5th time in the same episode, and I would just be gripping the bottom of my seat, clenching my teeth, praying for the episode to end. But Commander Pyre is an amazing character, and I love him. I have his action figure. And then the stuff that they do that kind of, and this is what I would love. This is something we say on the show all the time. I want Dave Filoni and the team that worked on the Clone Wars, Rebels, and the Bad Batch to do an animated show between episode 8 and episode 9, because there's a year's time right there, and do a show about these characters. Because when Resistance did tie in with the sequel trilogy, it was really cool and it was really awesome. Like seeing how they helped like develop Starkiller Base was super, super cool. And like, it's just a shame that they weren't able to do more with it. But we be doo-doo garbage. We think the show is doo-doo garbage for the most part.
No, I mean, and
I can see there's parts that are fun.
Yeah.
That is the hottest Star
That's
Wars
fair.
thing I've ever heard.
well, there you go. I
don't
had
think
one.
I've ever heard a single person say for a millisecond, yeah, I enjoyed it.
No, I mean, I think the thing for me is that I'm not particularly critical with a lot of things.
Okay.
I mean, that may or may not be a good thing or not. I don't know. Don't really care. But when I was watching it, like, yes, it's clearly aimed at a younger audience than something like Star Wars Rebels. But I was sat there watching it, and I couldn't help but sort of like smile and just, you know, sort of, it took me back, you know, to being a bit of a kid again. I just smiled, you know, when anything silly sort of happened, I was like, doesn't really, you know, I guess it doesn't feel like Star Wars, it's not really been done before, but like it was just silly, sort of goofy Star Wars fun, and that's what I did like that. But I do think the strongest elements of the show was definitely when it tied into The Force Awakens. Like when you see Starkiller Base at the end of season 1, like in the holograms, that was sick. And just their expansion of the First Order as well. Like one of my biggest gripes with the sequels is that it doesn't expand the First Order a huge amount. So in season 2, when we see those First Order Raiders, I think they're called, like they look sick.
Yeah.
And it's like, why isn't there more of this? Because they're so cool. Like their sole purpose is, you know, they were sent out by Kylo Ren to find ancient Sith relics. And it's just like, bruh.
Oh,
that's
those
cool.
guys. Okay, those few episodes of the show were absolutely
What do they look
phenomenal.
like?
Look at those.
Whoa.
See,
Aren't they?
they're
have
sick.
to
They're
watch
so
it.
cool.
Isn't that in the second season? It's like an arc in the second season.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. And it you know, it sort of ties the so yeah, it's definitely strongest when it ties into the sequels, like the main story as a whole, because, you know, it references Kylo Ren and yeah, like he's looking for ancient Sith relics, which is obviously with regards to the Sith Wayfinder, which he eventually finds in Rise of Skywalker. So there is that connection there, which I really like about the show. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be some episodes that are potentially a bit of a waste of space, but I don't mind it. Like, it's just funny, silly stupidness, and why not? You know, why not?
That is a really hot take, I will say. But you are absolutely right. I completely forgot about the Raiders and on that whole jungle planet where they go to that temple.
Yeah.
Those couple episodes were really good, and it was one of the only times that when I watched the show. And again, I completely forgot because I watched the entire show, both seasons, in like 3 days. So Again though, like that was one of the only times in the show where I like actually felt real stakes for the main characters. I was like, oh my gosh, like this character might die. Like this is like a big deal.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like aside from me liking The Last Jedi a lot, I don't know if I have like a Star Wars hot take. Could you guys think of one right off the bat?
I like Jar Jar.
What? Nah,
I don't
Jar
hate
Jar's sick.
Jar Jar.
I like Jar Jar. Jar Jar's cool.
People hate him. They're like, oh, Jar Jar sucks. I'm like, he's not that bad. He's basically Star Wars Resistance embodied in a character. So
No, he is. Yeah, and I think that's probably part of why I like it.
He's Niku.
Maybe.
He's Niku from Resistance.
Niku
Yeah, but
is a legend.
Here's a hot take. I unapologetically really enjoy the chase scene on the mopeds in Book of Boba. I know everybody hates that, and they think it's the dumbest thing ever. And
It looks
why is it
silly.
it's so incredibly comically slow.
I
That
know.
it's hilarious to me because I feel like
Oh,
I'll
God, yeah.
argue till the end of the earth that was done intentionally to be that stupid. Shut up.
The camera shot where it's the Twi'leks, the back of his head, and the memes that came from that are unreal. So good. No, I mean I didn't have a problem with that personally. I mean, yeah, like after people were saying it was really slow, I was like, damn, like it is really slow. But like I don't really have an issue with it. I'm not that critical. I can be, but only, if someone's like, be critical about this, then I'll think about it. But if I'm just watching it, I'll just be like, okay, I just won't care. If something bad happened in the finale, that the mod who spun around
Yeah.
and then shot, I literally, as soon as it happened, I was like, that. I literally said to my girlfriend, that was unnecessary. She agreed with me, and we moved on. That's how I operate. But then you see
That's how we
all
were
these
too.
people.
Like, that was dumb. And then we made a TikTok making fun of it.
Why not? But then you had countless people on Twitter being like, "Oh, it was really bad," like, "Oh," just crying about it, and it's just like, why? What's the point? But then I saw a guy who works. So he works for Lucasfilm Games. So it's not. Hang on a sec, guys.
You're fine.
Sorry, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I need to be quiet, but sorry. So I should probably get going in a bit. But yeah, he's a producer at Lucasfilm Games, and he kind of sort of had a bit of a fan theory for the explanation of it, of why he spun around. So he's got one eye, right? Like one real eye, one mod. So basically, the reason he spun around. Do you guys know what LiDAR technology is?
Yes.
He does.
So yeah, that basically. So he spins around, and using his mod eye is essentially a 3D scan of the area around him, so that he knows exactly where his targets are. So that when he gets back to his original position, he then knows exactly where to shoot, and he shoots them. So that like sort of fan theory is like that, like it actually makes that spin sound or seem quite cool. But
If it has to deal with, because if you don't know, the newer iPhones, they have LiDAR sensors on them, so that way you can actually scan a 3D space and create 3D models like on your phone. So that's cool. How people are like, you can scan your face and then you can put it on a 3D model just using your iPhone.
No kidding.
So that's how I watch Corridor Digital a lot. They did a lot of stuff with that. They were using it to do like mocap suits, but then they would do face tracking by mounting their iPhone to like a headset, and then they could track the faces. Yeah,
so I was actually in a motion capture suit last week. So I study 3D art and virtual production at university. So last week I was in. I don't know if you guys know what the Rococo Smart Suit is.
Yes.
I had a feeling that was coming.
Awesome.
So yeah, I was in that, and for facial capture we used an iPhone. I don't actually know which iPhone it was now, actually, but we used an iPhone anyway. And so yeah, motion capture suit, great, expensive suit. But then for the facial capture, we had a bike helmet, a selfie stick, and zip ties. So yeah, helmet, selfie stick, zip ties to keep it together, and then you just had the phone in front of you like a performance capture. So we had so it was just a tech test for us. But yeah, I was just dancing around in the mocap suit and speaking for facial capture stuff. So that was pretty sick.
If you're into that stuff, check out Corridor Crew. They did like a whole thing about developing their own system, which is literally that system. They kind of came
Yeah.
up with it for like the easy rig. So yeah, I like that stuff a lot. It interests
Mhm.
me. It's like a hobby. I just kind of
No kidding.
The dabble. Why
Yeah.
not? It is really good fun. Like it's hard work and it can be really expensive stuff depending on what you're doing. But yeah, it's awesome.
Mhm.
It's very cool.
Well, I was going to say something about that.
You're done.
Man, whatever. I have self-diagnosed short-term memory loss, so that's why sometimes I just. But yeah, so
I do
basically,
that all the time.
before we wrap this up here, what we're going to do is we ask you 3 rapid-fire Star Wars questions. They're easy.
Oh,
Don't
God.
worry about it. So,
I hope
favorite
so.
Star Wars movie?
Revenge of the Sith.
correct.
Of course. Favorite Star Wars show?
The Mandalorian.
Okay, that's fair. And what about favorite Star Wars character?
Plo Koon.
Oh,
okay.
okay, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we wrap up here, everyone, what we do on our Have a Chat episodes is we like to give everyone a little taste of what our guests' YouTube channel looks like if they have a YouTube
Oh,
channel. And so here we have,
God.
I'm sharing it on the screen right now. Bam! You can see it right
Boom, look at
now.
that.
This is Split Screen's YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to
Yeah, it
Split
is.
Screen, you better go do that right away because there's a lot of Star Wars gaming news coming out, and there's a lot of new Star Wars games coming out. So if you want the latest scoop, you got to go check him out, and you got to go buy his merch. If you're not buying his merch, that's a shame, man. Your dog water, your trash. And
Whoa.
with-
Your words.
with that being said, go check him out. All his links to all his social media will be in the description down below. And with that said, Jacob, take us on out.
Thank you all very so much for watching this episode of the 1313 Podcast Have a Chat series. If you liked it, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and let us know what you thought in the comments below. Don't be afraid to join our Discord. Link is in the description. We have tons of fun in there all the time, talking Star Wars gaming, Star Wars collection, Star Wars news, literally everything Star Wars, and even above that and beyond. We have a really nice community. If you're not a part of it, you should really join. It's an awesome place to be. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We've been popping off even more on TikTok, and we've posted a lot more content on there. So if you enjoyed those like short videos of just us being goofy wearing Mando helmets, be sure to tune into that. We're posting every Sunday if we have a good idea, and if we don't, there will not be a video on Sunday. So that's all. Thank you all very, very much for sticking with us to the end of this episode, and we will see you all next week.
Goodbye, everybody. Woo!